Well, folks, Death Dealer and Redliner will certainly be missed, but Azalea went to the Everfest Carnival and left with a brand new shiny prize. Dreadbore, her new bow, is a doozy and a game changer. Today I'm running down Azalea in a Dreadbore world and building a CC list for my games this weekend. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again. A fabulous cast. Thank you very much for checking in today, talking everything Azalea in a post-Everfest world. Obviously, the headliner from that is the new bow Dreadbore, which is really good, but Azalea got some other pretty good tools in this set. So what I want to do tonight is do a bit of a chalk talk to talk about some of the new good tools and where I think they fit, and then we'll go over to the FabDB and we'll actually make a deck. Tonight's cast is actually sponsored by FabDB, so huge shout out to them and how much work they do. As of the moment that I'm shooting this, LSS still does not have their gallery updated for all the Everfest stuff, but FabDB does, right? So you can go into the collection, you can search by Everfest. It's actually up. You can, well, obviously we're going to do it. We can go in and build a deck, and they've all got it ready to go, right? It's awesome. The amount of work they do to stay on top of things and get us what we need is awesome. So go check out FabDB if you're not already. All right, so what I'm showing up now are what I consider to be the good tools for Azalea, right? The best tools for them. Now, there are 5 cards here. Obviously, the weapon, which we're going to be using because, I mean, right? I don't think I need to explain that one. Then, yeah, so that'll be the centerpiece of our build, and it opens up a lot. It opens up a lot of things that change, right? But Battering Bolt is going to go in our deck as a sideboard option, just being the 2 for 6. It does good things. But then we have Read the Glide Path, Tri-Shot, and Rain Razors. So let's go ahead and start with Dreadbore itself. I mean, Dreadbore is amazing, right? And it's not just, right? Its static ability of the defense reactions on arrows is big, right? But the biggest thing here is the +1. Now, there's a couple different pieces to this in terms of the impact. Obviously, it turns on Boltyn Shot. I mean, that's probably the lowest hanging fruit, but it's a really good fruit, right? I mean, that's amazing because you get it, right? It used to be that you had to take aim or somehow buff it, or sometimes you'd pop your bullseye bracers to get it in. Now with Dreadbore, it's just on, but it does cost you 1, right? So if you compare it to like the old Redliner decks, which is what I used to run, your cost curve does change a bit. It does change a bit. The counter to that, though, is you get the +1. So if you look at what I'm showing now, is when you look at kind of playing Ranger the old way, the reason the old way, right? 0/4s were very important because they put it into the 2 card block category in order to not take said detrimental effect, right? Now, if you look at a lot of the 1s, right? So Hamstring Shot's the one I have up there. It's a 1 for 5, 4, and 3. A lot of times I would play to try and manage my pitch and cost curve, right? My deck cost curve out. Hamstring Shot was one I played yellow of because it wasn't right? It's a really good effect on hit, something that they want to block. But because you're playing it mostly for the on-hit effect rather than the damage, you're okay playing like the 1 to 4, right? Because it's still the 2 block range. Well, now with Dreadbore, and same with Searing Shot, right? Searing Shot was 0 for 4 because you wanted them to double block because they didn't want to take the on-hit effect. But now with Dreadbore giving them a +1, everything's going to cost more, so we need to raise our curve as it is. But we can sacrifice a lot of what would have old been reds for yellows or potentially yellows for blues now, because you can still be in that hit range, right? So the Hamstring Shot example I have there, you could, in theory, we could, in theory, change that yellow hamstring shot to the blue hamstring shot, because the blue hamstring shot with Dreadbore is now going to come in for 4, right? Which is still, it basically is doing the same thing. Now, the obvious counter to that is if we do reload it in, then you don't necessarily get that. But I think that when we go back and, I mean, we're basically going to kind of completely overhaul the Azalea. Well, not completely because you're still playing Big Arrow, but there's going to be a lot of old staples that don't necessarily make it in, I think. So I think a lot of times when you are reloading, aside from off Boltyn shot, you're going to be getting some sort of bonus. And then I have Headshot down there because a lot of people realized Headshot was really good when Lexi came out. Those of us who were playing it before knew it was, but now this is, instead of a 1 for 6, it's a 2 for 7. Granted, I'd rather throw a 1 for 6 than a 2 for 7, but 2 for 7 is 3 block range, right? Now, no on the counter there is that there's no real on hit effect because that's your bonus. So, I mean, take that or leave it, but a 2 for 7's not bad, right? I'll take a 2 for 7 all day long. All right, so now I want to talk some of the other fillers, that makes them sound so not important. So Read the Glide Path is an incredible card. This is very clearly an Azalea card, right? Lexi's going to have next to no interest in that. Your next arrow attack gains +3 and opt 1. I mean, this is Azalea all day long. I can't believe I didn't think about this. Like, I never even theory crafted that Azalea should have got this, and like she totally should have got it, right? Well, now she has it. The next one I want to talk about is Tri-Shot. Now, I don't know how often you're actually, like with an Azalea Big Arrow build, I don't know how often you're actually going to use this. That said, it being blue and giving you the option to maybe do a double load if you need it, I think's pretty good, right? So I think if we think in our heads of this card, not as necessarily like, oh, I need to combo it with 3 of a kind and do all that stuff. I think if we instead put ourselves in the mindset where it's almost like, serves kind of the same function as like how most of us used to use Knock the Death Whistle, where mostly it was your pitch card, but it'd get you out of a jam in the right situation, or you could use it to set something big up. I think that's more where we set our head there. Then the final card I want to speak to, this card is phenomenal, right? Rain Razors. Arrows is an instant. Arrows have +2 while attacking this turn, right? This card gives it all arrows, but it's an instant, right? So you can throw a Boltyn shot out there that's not buffed, hit it, you can come over the top on a hit, and then it still carries, This card is really phenomenal, and it's a yellow pitch, right? I think all 3 of these, well, all 4 of them with Battering Bolt, right? But Battering Bolt, I think, is mostly a sideboard option here. But, because Battering Bolt 3 for 7 doesn't sound great. I mean, yeah, there's some Earth cards there, but then they get better fusing, right? So, anyway. All right, so what I want to do now, let's go ahead and head over to FabDB. All right, folks, so I have FabDB pulled up, so let's just go to Decks, My Decks, and we will create a new deck for Azalea CC. Look, she's right on top, alphabetical, fantastic for us. All right, so when we go in, I mean, let's just start going down, I suppose. Let's go do the weapons, right? So fill that out. Let's do yeah, exactly. So we do that. I was planning on probably playing with all the opt. Now let's do cross wrap. Just I think for this weekend that's the right thing. Make sure we get the ability we need. We'll tunic up. I don't have a tunic, so I'll be using cross wrap instead. So that's what I would use if you don't have a tunic. And then we need snappies, because of course we do, which will pair very well with our new Rain Razors. So where are we at? Okay, perfect. And then we can backfill Null Rune as needed. Okay, and then for instance, just because we're here, right, we'll do Rain Razors because, whoops, where'd it go? Oh, I clicked it back on. There we go. Rain Razors. All right, and that should do that. So now we go to attacks. All right, so let's just go through. So we're going to Battering Bolts. We'll add that in later because I want to make sure we get our our counts right. So for starters, let's do Boltyn shot red and yellow. Okay. Endless Arrow for sure. Hamstring. Do we want to start with the yellow? right? Because most of the things we're going to do, you know what? Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go look at our non-attacks because that'll help us determine how much extra cost we need, right? So we'll toss in knock because of course we do. Overflex is probably we do red overflex. There's an argument to be made. One of the ones I like to play, I actually like to play yellow overflex because you're used to that 1 for 3, but it gets you the extra pitch. So actually, let's do that because we have the higher cost curve. So let's go 1 for 3 yellow overflex. We'll run glide path, obviously. Run seek and destroy. And then one card I want to pack is take aim. Okay, because it's still 3 reload. It's great for a Boltyn into something else. And forces a hit. Okay, so there we go. Now, I want to be paying very close attention to our pitches here. I want us probably in the 10. I mean, it's going to be hard to get 10 blues. It'll be very hard to get 10 blues. Okay, actually, let's go do defense reactions here just real quick since we're here. So Fate Foreseen is an obvious include, and then take cover. Okay. And then one of the other blues that I want to run is Lunging Press. I still want to keep that in. And then so between Lunging Press and Razors, that should fill us out pretty good. Okay, so, all right. So where are we at on pitch value? So, yeah, so I think, let's start with yellow hammies. Okay, red in the ledger is a no-brainer. Remorseless is a no-brainer. I still like red and blue Ridge Rider. Like it's what I've always used to play those. There's no reason not to play the split there for your opt. Searing. See, now here's the debate, right? I've obviously always played red Searing, but I kind of talked about that. Let's actually try and do that. Let's do 3 yellow Searings. What are we at? We're on 50. Oh, I mean, we're almost there, right? And then what I like to do, yeah, actually hamstring. So what I typically like to do is I like to have 2 yellow hamstrings, 2 yellow sleep darts, and then, I fill it out with Memorial Ground is the one that we do need that instant. I do like 2 Memorial Grounds. Very nice. Now, I don't think we need 3 of a kind here. I don't think that's appropriate. What did we go for headshots missing? There we go. So we are at 60 on the dot, right? So that's without any sideboard type options. Okay. So where does that land us? 9 blue pitch. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for 12. But I don't really know what else. Well, okay. I mean, we specifically spoke to Tri-Shot, right? So let's do that and see. There it is, Tri-Shot. Okay, and then command, and because why wouldn't we? Okay, so 3 Command and Conquers. Okay, and then the beauty about the 2/2/2 on the yellows is that they can sideboard in and out. So, okay, so now we're in sideboard range. So what do we think? What do you think? 3 of the big arrows, right? I think that sounds about right. Because then we don't need to necessarily worry about bringing in, right? I used to play stuff like Raging Onslaught and stuff like that because this blocks for 3. So that gives us 6 sixes. So yeah, 6 sixes. So we're 12, 18. So half of our deck pitches for a 1. Yeah, half of our deck can fill us up, right? And then you can use your... I think that works, right? I think that works because... Yeah, I think that works because you can pitch a yellow for 1+, right, for the bow and a 1. You can pitch the blue if you need it for 1, 2, 3, or you want to have blues in there for frostbite and stuff like that because I hear that's a thing these days. So I like it, and then you'd always do have the option to throw a 0. The question is 0 cost. I mean, we're pretty redlined as it is. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. So, and then what do we have? Total attack. Reactions is 3, but really our instance is two of our instants are effectively attack actions. There's an argument to be made to put Remembrance in, but I've run up against that not being quite as good because I'm not playing 3 of a kind again, so Memorial Ground kind of fills that slot. So aside from kind of just like, the standard sideboard filler cards like Snag, I like one of those, and then Sigils. That should probably do. I'll be honest, I haven't really wrapped my head around all the good sideboard options out of Everfest yet, but I think this is pretty solid. So let's go over to the deck and check this out. So, all right, so we have Boltyn Shot. So Boltyn Shot, Endless, Headshot, Ridge Riders, which are very good. Red, Remorseless, Seek, Take Aim, for the reload. So I think this is pretty solid, right? I mean, the argument here would be that we have to be careful to manage how many cards we sit down at the table with because we only have 12 pumps, which is a little weak. But then again, like how many cards are you really getting in your hand? So because, a lot of times, especially with the Boltyn Shot, right, it doesn't always need to be a big arrow turn, right? You want a big arrow turn over on your big hits like your Remorseless or your Red in the Ledger. You want a big arrow those, but your Boltyn Shots are like Boltyn Shot into a 0-4 is pretty strong, right? And we have one, so aside from Boltyn, we have 1, 2, because you're not doing that, 1, 2, 3. Now that one being yellow there's an argument to be made for running yellow Searing and red Searing, actually. Actually, let's go. Do we have room? What are we doing? No, we don't. We're at 78. We don't have room. So we don't have room for that. So that'll be, okay, so I'm not going to add it, but that'll be something to really think about is, we might have too many Tri-Shots. Like we could probably drop a Tri-Shot and add a Searing, and then you can change that based on what you sit down against, right? And because remember, certain matchups we sit down, we're not necessarily going to run the defense reactions depending on who we sit down against. So, and then obviously Sigils are for your multi-hit decks. It's just more card efficiency. So, okay, well I think that will do it. I will link to this particular deck in the description so you can check it out. Now remember, this may evolve. Not may. This will certainly evolve over time. This is kind of first stab at the new Azalea. Really need to get reps with Dreadbore. Like I need to get some real life reps with Dreadbore as opposed to just testing and see how it works versus people in person. All right. So anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking. Hopefully you guys have been typing and commenting as we've been going. So got those advice. All my Azalea players, let me know what you're thinking. So anyway, if you haven't figured out your pre-orders yet, I'm still I have some pre-orders in, but at my LGS at Gunga, I have a pre-order in. Still trying to figure out the numbers I want there because I'm finding that most of the stuff I want in this set is actually just commons and a couple Majestics. So we'll see how that plans out. But after I do figure out the pre-order thing, I'll be going to Travis over at Fab Foundry to hook me up with all the singles that I need, or get all this, not hook me up, like get the singles that I need. And you should do the same. So if you do head over there, make sure to use the link below. And I get a small kickback from that, which is much appreciated. Helps support what we do here. So anyway, folks, let me know what you're thinking. What are you playing this weekend? Just even if it's not Azalea, what are you playing this weekend? Let me know, folks. If nothing else, go Commando.